Good evening and welcome. You're with the News First, your number one news provider. I'm Shamir Rasooli.
And I'm Sonali Vanigabaduke. The visuals that you witnessed were of a tragic incident which took place during the early hours of today in Kalutara.
The tragedy claimed the lives of 4 people, including 2 children.
We have the details of the story and some compelling visuals later on in the news. But before that, it's time for tonight's headlines.
President declares open a new 5-story building of the Defence Services College. Senate to be created to strengthen relations between the government and provincial councils. Select committee to look into the devolution of power. MTV Spose hits the airwaves, heralding a new era in television broadcasting in Sri Lanka.
Today marks 2 years since President Mahinda Rajapaksa won the presidential election, which was held on the 26th of January 2010.
Mahinda Rajapaksa's presidency has been described as a period that has brought forth economic, social and cultural changes. Many large-scale development projects have been launched under the Rajapaksa presidency, and these are expected to deliver economic development. The first phase of the 126-kilometer Southern Expressway, comprising of the 95-kilometer stretch from Colombo to Mathura, has already been vested in the public, while plans have been made to extend the expressway to Hambantota. Work is progressing rapidly on the Hambantota harbour, which is being constructed in 4 stages. The aim of the project is to convert Hambantota into an economic hub in the region and to provide employment opportunities to thousands in the area. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's second international airport, the Mattala Airport, is to be declared open by the end of this year. The Colombo harbour is being expanded in order to convert Colombo into a regional financial hub. It is no secret that massive development projects have been launched during the Rajapaksa presidency. Projects with regard to power and energy, agriculture and water management have also been launched during this period. The recently opened Lotus Pond Theatre also signifies the strengthening of Sri Lanka's diplomatic relations. Sri Lanka has reason to be proud of the development activities that have been launched over the past 2 years under the presidency of Mahinda Rajapaksa.
A new 5-story building of the Defence Services College was declared open by President Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The opening of the building coincided with the 5th anniversary of the college.
This school is the brainchild of Secretary to the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The Defence Services College aims to provide a more productive education to the children of war heroes. The school, which was declared open in 2007 as a special national school, began with classes from grade 1 to grade 6. The new 5-story building, which was declared open today, has extended the classes from grade 6 to advanced level. 224 children were enrolled to grade 1 today under the auspices of the President.
4 people died when the van they were travelling in caught fire in the Alamodar area in Kalutara North today. 2 children were among those killed in the incident, while 7 others who sustained injuries have been admitted to the Nagara hospital in Kalutara.
The van, which was travelling from Beruwala to Halapangoda, had caught fire in the Almodara area at around 12:45 am today. Investigations revealed that 11 relatives, including 5 children, were inside the van when tragedy struck. The group of relatives had travelled to the Moragalla area in Beruwala for a funeral. An unprotected can of petrol had been kept inside the van, and it was this that was being used as the fuel tank. The driver of the van, Lasanta Deepal, who had sustained injuries in the incident and is currently hospitalized, stated that there was a problem with the flow of petrol and the van was stopped to inspect what was wrong. The driver said that a fire erupted when the can of petrol was being inspected and the engine of the van was restarted. Here are some of the visuals captured on a mobile phone by a person who was near the scene of the fire.
Mommy.
Several eyewitnesses recalled the horrific incident.
We heard people screaming, so we woke up and rushed out to look. We saw a fire. They asked us to do something, so we started throwing sand and water, but we couldn't do anything.
There was fire. We managed to break open the doors and rush those inside to hospital. The two children, mother and sister of the van driver, had died in the fire. The driver said that when the fire erupted, the elder son, who had got frightened, had moved to the back seat of the van to stay close to his grandmother. The magisterial inquiry into the incident was conducted this morning. The Kalutara North Police said that measures were taken to hand over the bodies of the victims to the relatives.
Television broadcasting in Sri Lanka saw the opening of a new chapter with the launch of MTV Spose this afternoon.
This is the dawn of a new era, and this is MTV Sports. Today we're here to explain to you how
An evolutionary new English television channel with a path-breaking format. MTV Spose is dedicated to sports and entertainment while keeping viewers constantly updated on the latest news, both local and international. MTV Sports will look to capitalize on the ever-expanding interest in sports and entertainment by tying up with international sports channels and news channels such as BBC World to provide the right mix of entertainment and news to its viewers. The channel will focus on producing programs under entertainment pillars including lifestyle, sports, youth, kids and news. MTV Sports will launch a host of new programs aimed at various segments of its audience, focusing on fashion, motorcars and food to lifestyles, in addition to the revitalized relaunch of its current hit programs such as Planet Pulse and Good Morning Sri Lanka. The new programs will include Driving Force, Cafe Colombo, The Chill Pill, IB1W, Wildlife, Cheeky Chef and Take 5 with Rosie. Speaking on the channel's local programming content, director of the channel, Chandana Surya Bandara, said that they have focused on setting a new benchmark when it comes to reality programming by launching the English version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The existing lineup of reality programs include Yes Superstar and The Debater. Channel head of MTV, Siobhan Daniel, noted that the channel was designed and developed in keeping with world-class standards. He said that the channel's design and content would build an audience that would believe in the brand and identify with it, just like top brands such as Apple.
Yesterday on our special segment 13 Plus, we analysed the time period between the introduction of the 1972 Republican Constitution and the establishment of provincial councils. Tonight, we continue from there.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party once again reignited the dialogue on the devolution of power through its policy framework, which formed the basis of its 1994 general election campaign. It was during the same period that UNP presidential candidate Gamini Dissanayake stated that his party would back the 13th Amendment and grant more powers to the provincial councils. Following the election of a SLFP-led government, after 17 years of UNP rule, on the 8th of January 1995, the new government and the LTTE signed an agreement on cessation of hostilities. The proposal placed on the table by the PA government led by President Chandrika Kumaratunga on the 6th of January 1995 focused on a number of key areas such as the establishment of a National Monetary Commission, the establishment of a provincial police service and to consider land as a devolved subject. Although the agreement on the cessation of hostilities was violated on many occasions, the government, which accepted the concept of devolution of power in principle, launched the White Lotus campaign. President Kumaratunga, who was the architect of this, stated that a strong constitutional framework was required to devolve power. The Liam Fox Agreement, which was signed in April 1997, provided an assurance that both parties to the conflict, the Sri Lanka government and the LTTE, would pursue a common approach to resolve the issue. A draft proposal presented on the 24th of October 1997 included, among others, a list of devolved subjects and the unit of devolution. In November 1999, the government proposed to appoint advisory committees to the North and Eastern Provincial Councils. A discussion on expanding the powers of the North and Eastern Provincial Councils arose once again with the introduction of the draft constitution of 2000. Proposals were also made to establish a police commission for those areas. The 2000 draft constitution of the Kumaratunga administration is considered a milestone in the devolution process so far.
මේ කටයුත්තට වසර 6ක් තිස්සේ 1994 මැතිවරණයට අපි සූදානම් වුණ වෙලාවේ 94 ජූනි මාසයේ සිටම මේ ව්‍යවස්ථාව සම්පාදනය කරන්නට.
However, the draft constitution raised a hornet's nest when it was presented in Parliament and amidst the din was consigned to history. Discussions had been held with the United National Party. They expressed their consent, but at the last minute, they showed a different stance in Parliament. From the side of the Chandrika Kumaratunga government, I think they took too long to present this draft constitution. We should have presented this in 96-97 when there was much support for it. There are lessons for both the sides. When one side plans to amend the constitution, it needs to be done when there is support. Other parties too have a duty to act in a responsible manner. Tomorrow, we take a look at the attempts at devolution since 2000.
Now, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution is once again a main topic of discussion in the political arena. Here are some of the views expressed by political party representatives.
13 දුන්නොත් රට බෙදනවා කිව්වා. අපි යුද්ධයක් කරමු.
They said if 13 plus is brought in, we will be dividing the country. The United People's Freedom Alliance was under the opinion that after destroying the LTE through war, 13 plus was not necessary. However, these individuals who were against the 13th Amendment recently started saying that they will give more than the 13th Amendment. Can we believe this? The government has presented one story before the international community and another story before the public of the country. We would like to ask the government as to what it meant by saying it would go beyond the 13th Amendment. The government came into power by saying that they are against the 13th Amendment and they will abolish it. What we should consider is what kind of an impact the 13th Amendment has towards the life of the public. The villagers don't understand the 13th Amendment. People have no interest in it. What they want is their needs to be fulfilled by the government, provincial councils or the Pradesh Sabha.